Depending on who you talk to, Elon Musk is either America's saviour or he's pure evil. How would you describe what Elon Musk is up to?
Elon Musk is a very complicated character because on the one hand, he's doing incredible things. He has helmed the Doge Department of Efficiency, in which he is spending his time totally unpaid, looking for waste, fraud, and abuse in the US government. And I have to tell you, this is something that is very important to average Americans. Working class and middle class Americans feel keenly the injustice of the waste that we have in our government. I know this because I traveled around the country for a year reporting my book, Second Class, and I interviewed working class Americans from all political persuasions, and they all brought up abuse and fraud in welfare as something that they had seen firsthand. And it really bothered them that they work so hard and are unable to achieve the American dream while knowing people who they feel are defrauding the government. So this is a huge boon to America and to Americans. On the other hand, he has a lot of potential conflicts of interest. This is a person who has a car company, Tesla, which potentially could have inappropriate contracts with the US government if they're given to him based on this other role that he has or his closeness with the president. He has contracts with SpaceX. He has an AI company, XAI, which I'm sure he would like to see get some sort of government contracts. And so there's real problems here.
It is a significant transformation, isn't it, from this man who pioneered electric cars, revolutionised space exploration, and suddenly he's in the Oval Office, cutting jobs, cutting budgets. I mean, how did he get here?
I wouldn't say that he has a lot of power. I think that he has a unique relationship with President Trump. You have to understand, Donald Trump has no peers. He is the most powerful person on the planet. And he keeps saying about Elon Musk, this is a person who has asked me for nothing. He's probably the first person Trump has ever met who has asked him for nothing. And so he's very impressed by that, and they've established this kind of friendship. It's like a kind of buddy comedy romance here, right? A bromance, if you will. But when it comes to actual power, Donald Trump has limited Elon Musk's power as much as he has empowered him to do things. So there was a widely circulated article in the New York Times in which it was reported that at a cabinet meeting, Elon Musk and cabinet members actually got into shouting matches over who had the power and who had the responsibility to fire employees. And at the end of that meeting, Donald Trump very decidedly sided with his cabinet members over Elon Musk and suggested at the end of that Elon Musk should be in an advisory role rather than controlling who gets fired.
Do you think Americans who voted for Donald Trump realised the extent of the role Elon Musk would have?
I don't think they did, but I don't think they mind it. Donald Trump's agenda overall is wildly popular, especially with working class and middle class families. Nobody likes to be fired, though. And he gave that portfolio to Elon Musk, who is now absorbing a lot of the anger and a lot of the rage. And so Musk is really absorbing a lot of those attacks and allowing Trump to really proceed with everything that he's been doing that he wants to do.
Do you think Musk's views and values align with President Trump's?
On some issues, yes, and on some issues, definitely not. So for example, Trump is a big hawk on China, and Elon Musk is China's #1 cheerleader in the United States. Over half of Teslas are made in Shanghai. The major key stakeholders are in China. The entire supply chain is in China, and of course the batteries. And so Elon Musk is very much existing at the largesse of the Chinese Communist Party. He has never once said a bad word about them. This is a person who casts himself as a sort of maverick renegade who isn't, shy to insult people in power, but he has never once said anything less than obsequious about Xi Jinping or the Chinese Communist Party.
Do you think we are seeing signs of some friction in their relationship?
I wouldn't say friction in their relationship, but Donald Trump is very much reining him in. So there was a report that Elon Musk would be attending a meeting in which a plan for a potential war with China was going to be discussed. And as soon as that report was leaked, President Trump came out very vigorously against it, not just against the leaks, but as he said in a press conference the next day, against the very idea that he would allow a businessman with business interests in China to sit in on such a meeting. And of course, Elon Musk is a businessman with massive interests in China. It's one of his weaknesses as an advisory role to the US government.
What do you make of Musk's unconventional behaviour? You know, casual clothes in the Oval Office, the dark MAGA cap, his young sons running around climbing on his shoulders. Is it inappropriate?
As one of 6 children, to see a father so clearly favor one of them obviously rubs me the wrong way. I don't like the disrespect that it implies to the office of the president. There was a video of his child, picking his nose and putting the booger on the, that desk that Trump was sitting at. It was quickly replaced the next day. Trump is a very big germaphobe. So that rubbed me the wrong way. I felt that was very disrespectful, but Trump doesn't seem to mind it, so...
So do you think Elon Musk has embraced the role Donald Trump has given him, or is he overstepping?
It's a really good question. There are days where I think, what he did today, what he accomplished today, this was significant, this was patriotic, this was good for the country. And then there are days where things are reported like that he would potentially sit in on a meeting about a potential war with China, where I think this is totally inappropriate. And I was actually very relieved to see Trump come out and say this would never happen, this is not happening, and so forth. So I think it's really a mixed bag. Seeing Elon Musk, or seeing it reported that he was yelling at members of the cabinet. Again, like as an American, I don't like that at all. I think that's really inappropriate behavior. And again, was relieved to see that Trump clearly sided with the cabinet that he so carefully chose.
So is there a bit of good cop, bad cop going on there, perhaps?
Yeah, that's really well put.
It is coming at a huge personal cost to him. We've seen that with Tesla share prices and the attacks on vehicles and factories right across America. It's a huge cost to him.
It is, but I think what he stands to gain from this relationship is potentially also huge. I mean, if he could get government contracts for his AI company, this would be very big for him. Get better contracts for Tesla with cyber trucks and so forth. So the potential to win here, to come out ahead, I think is very, very high. And this is why I think President Trump and the media has to be very vigilant that there are no true conflicts of interest and that nothing, that lacks propriety actually happens.
What you're describing really is an unprecedented combination of wealth, technology, and politics to pursue more power.
Yes, but we have seen Trump very, very aware of the potential conflicts of interest. And so far, he seems very willing to step in and make sure that nothing untoward happens. But again, we have to be very vigilant about this.
So do you think Elon Musk then is driven by his own personal wealth, or is it about power?
It's a really good question. I've never met him. I don't really know what makes him tick. I think that he is very drawn to being at the center of things. He loves to drive the news cycle. He loves to be in the headlines. He loves to be the center of attention, at the center of it all. I do think it seems like he and Trump have developed what seems like a real friendship and a real intimacy. Trump has no peers. He's the most powerful person on the planet, and there is no one at that level with him. And so he's made friends with the most rich person on the planet. It makes a lot of sense that they would see something in each other that they can't get from anywhere else. I would say, I do think that the role Elon Musk is playing, it looks extremely powerful. But the power that he has is a reflection of the power Trump has given him. And Trump seems very willing to pull the reins on that whenever necessary.
The courts are now turning on Musk. The Trump administration's been ordered to reinstate thousands of workers who were just fired. I mean, that speaks to the chaotic nature of the process, doesn't it?
Yes, it's definitely chaotic. A lot about this administration is chaotic. Look, Trump is a chaotic guy. I think the way to understand Doge is as a very aggressive audit, and an audit that's going to make mistakes like this. And, thank God the judiciary to step in and say this was overreach. So from my point of view, this is how it's supposed to work. This is what the process is supposed to look like. They came in with a sledgehammer. Would they have been able to accomplish the same thing if they had gone much more carefully, one by one, taken more time with it? I think what we're learning about Donald Trump right now is what he learned from his first administration. I think he felt that he got rolled over and over by what he calls the deep state, by the bureaucracies at work in government, whether it's foreign policy, whether it's domestic policy, whether it's economic policy. He feels that he was stymied from putting out the agenda that he wanted to put out. And I think a lot of what we're seeing now is him correcting for that. Is he overcorrecting? Certainly on some issues, but again, that's where the courts will step in.
And so Elon Musk has become part of that overcorrecting.
It's hard to say because, again, the cuts at Doge, they have over 50% support from the American people. So they are popular. People want to see waste, fraud, and abuse cut. I don't think they're going to find $55 billion worth of waste, fraud, and abuse. I don't think it's going to quite rise to that level. But, if picture that you're a struggling working class person, you're working 2 or 3 jobs, you're trying to feed your family, you can barely pay your rent, you can barely afford groceries, forget about going out to a restaurant or getting a house of your own. The American dream is out of reach for you. And you see the government and it's so bloated and you're paying taxes and you can't afford anything, and somebody shows up and says, I'm getting rid of the waste. That is going to make a lot of people feel relieved.
It's usually quite a limited role, special advisor to the president, and temporary as well. Do you see Elon Musk sticking around in that role?
Honestly, I think he's going to get bored kind of soon and move on, especially if his role is further limited. We know that his office was moved from closer to Trump to much further away. I think at some point he's going to lose interest and he's going to run out of people to fire. As each department takes control over the work that Doge is doing, he's going to lose more and more of that authority to fire and to make headlines and to be, on the tip of everybody's tongue, and I think he'll move on.